Welcome to Forex Daybreak, a daily podcast where we cover 8 Forex pairs and give you our view on the market direction for these pairs. If you are trading Forex market, this is the #1 show to start your trading day. Now, let's begin today's episode.
Good morning everybody and welcome to Forex Daybreak episode 49. In this daily Forex update, I will give you my view on 8 Forex pairs I analyze using Elliott Wave principle. My name is Ville Vainio and today is 15th of October 2015. So before we start, I have some great news for you. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and start trading my analysis on this podcast. So starting from episode 50, tomorrow I'm going to switch gears a little and start focusing on trades on this podcast. I'm going to do this on a demo account at first for legal reasons and do a little analysis on the side. I'm not going to analyze all the 8 pairs every day, but focus on those with trading opportunities. So from episode 50 onwards, this show is all about trading the Forex market with you. I'm going to tell you what I trade, why I trade and when to trade. Basically this podcast is going to be a free signal service for all listeners. Share the podcast and tell your friends about it so we can get as many traders on board as possible. Okay, now let's get started. Okay, our first pair today is EURUSD, which has moved past the 114.6 level. Yesterday I talked about this 114.6 level, that if we go past it, we are still forming the 1 degree larger corrective form, which is minute wave 2. And now the price is 114.69. We have gone even higher than that. The high is at 114.88. So this means that minute wave 2 is still forming and is forming an very complex, large, flat correction. So here you can see minute wave 2 label, and the flat correction is 335 form. So we can make out that structure, 3 waves for the A wave. That's the 114.6 peak, then 3 waves down to 111.045 and now all the way towards 114.88, and seems that this is not yet completed. We might get a little more upside, and if we start to approach the 117 level, then this whole wave count, the larger structure, is something different that I have labeled it. But as of now, I'm expecting a reversal soon. This is a textbook flat correction. Usually wave 2 is the sharp corrective form, a zigzag or double zigzag or even a triple zigzag. But now we are forming the flat corrective form and possibly get little more upside, perhaps towards the 115.2 levels. But I'm not expecting much more upside. I'm expecting a reversal soon, and this is supported on the other US dollar pairs. So let's move on to dollar yen. And dollar yen has declined. The trend line I have on my chart has been broken to the downside around 119.7. The price now 119.08. So a decline has been seen here, and this very complex corrective structure. And when this correction in dollar yen has completed, I'm expecting more upside. Next larger structure to the upside should start. If my wave analysis is correct, we are forming now the X wave of minute degree, and the next wave higher would be Y wave of same degree, minute degree, which would be a three-wave structure, a larger three-wave structure, perhaps towards 123, 124 levels. Maybe a little more downside before the reversal can happen in dollar yen. Next is pound dollar. Yesterday was a very strong day for pound, which is seen here as well. Pound has rallied all the way up to 155 level. The wave count is still holding, although the wave structure is very hard to figure out here. Perhaps we are forming some sort of double zigzag here. There's room to go more upside, but also the pending dollar strength, which is manifesting in other pairs, would give a limited upside on this pair as well. I'm expecting this to turn down soon for next larger wave down, but before that we can expect a little more upside and possibly a three-wave structure to form another similar structure than from the low of 151 to the recent high. So we can see here a three-wave structure on this high, and then we can see three-wave structure down. Now perhaps we can expect a five-wave structure to form here, or a larger three-wave structure like so. We need to stay below this level if this wave count proves correct. So maybe a little more upside before the reversal also here is expected. Euro pound next, and the pound strength has kept euro from rising in here. It has been strong on almost all of the other pairs, but euro pound has declined. We can make out a completed ABC structure here. The C wave was a little weaker than I expected, but almost to the 61.8% Fibonacci expansion level it reached anyway, so very close to 0.75 level, and we have since declined. And if we see a five-wave structure down from the peak of 0.7492, this is a strong signal for the reversal, and possibly the larger decline has started. So we can see a five-wave structure for the C wave has formed here, and now once we see a completed five-wave structure down from that high, we can expect more downside after that confirmation or small confirmation. In my opinion, at this point it is unclear to say, but it looks very promising that the reversal has happened in euro pound. Okay, next is euro yen. Euro yen has moved sideways more or less for the past 2 days. There is still room for upside. We can expect a move upwards towards the triangle trend line before going down, or the C wave, as I have labeled it, might have completed already, and the next larger move will be towards the 132 levels, which is the lower end of the triangle trend line. If this triangle scenario proves correct and we'll see a nice starting decline, there's a good opportunity to trade the next leg down. There is still quite a lot of pips to gain here. We are now at 136.6, so there's a 450 pip expected move to the downside. The problem usually with trading the corrective patterns are that they are not necessary, but they can be very choppy, and the price action may be overlapping, so tight stops can be hard to pull off, and also if you are watching your trades, it can be nerve-wracking to see up and down price action. But let's see how this develops, and we might trade this to the downside on tomorrow or next week's episodes. Okay, next is pound yen, and on pound yen my wave count is proposing that we are now forming a B wave, which may not have been completed yet, so we might get a little more upside before the continuation for the large downtrend can start or happen here. So perhaps we can expect a move higher before turning back down. The recent price action for this correction is quite hard to figure out. The wave divisions are not visible, so maybe this recent strong decline was the B wave, and now we can expect a 5-wave structure for the C wave. But in order for this to be a valid wave count, we need to stay below the 188,276 level. Okay, next is Euro Canadian dollar. Nothing much has happened here since yesterday. We might have finished the wave 2, minute wave 2 correction, which is seen here in my wave count, and perhaps we will see the next impulsive move down. Euro has been strong lately, but also Canadian dollar has been very strong, so there are two opposing strong currencies, and this causes the price action to be sideways and very muted. But perhaps we will see euro weakness on the coming days and weeks. This should cause this pair also to start declining further. So perhaps we have seen now a completed corrective structure, and now we'll start the next leg down, or we will see more upside for Euro Canadian to complete this corrective minute wave 2. So maybe a little more upside is expected in Euro Canadian before the larger downtrend can resume back. And first signs I would like to see is a 5-wave structure to the downside and a break below the 146 support level. These two events would give a strong signal that the bears are back on charts. Alright, final pair is US dollar Canadian, which is still continuing the strong decline. If the recent upwards move was a B wave of this Y part of the 4th wave correction, we can expect more downside here, but I'm expecting more dollar strength soon, so perhaps the downside here is limited and we can expect a reversal in US dollar Canadian as well, and the larger uptrend is expected to resume shortly. More downside here can be expected before that larger reversal can happen. Okay, that's all for today's episode. Remember that tomorrow we are going to start trading on this podcast. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and start trading my analysis on this podcast. Starting from episode 50, so tomorrow I'm going to switch gears a little and start focusing on trades on this podcast. I'm going to do this on a demo account for legal reasons at first and do a little analysis on the side. I'm not going to analyze all the 8 pairs every day, but focus on those with trading opportunities. So starting from episode 50, this show is all about trading the forex market with you. I'm going to tell you what to trade, why I trade, and when to trade. Basically, this podcast is going to be a free signal service for all listeners. So share the podcast, tell your friends about it so we can get as many traders on board as possible. Now go make some profits, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Thanks for your interest in Forex Daybreak Daily Podcast. If you like this show, we hope you'll visit our website, www.forexdaybreak.com, and tell your friends about us. Be sure to check the show notes on our website for this episode. Join us next time for another episode of Forex Daybreak.